What is going on, everyone? Welcome back. My name is TIE Fighter, and today we're going to be talking about Anthem once again. So first of all, I just wanted to say thank you so much to everyone who's been supportive of my recent Anthem videos. This is kind of a new venture for me, and everyone's been really receptive to content that I've been creating about Anthem, so thank you for that. But today we're actually going to be talking about information that we've gathered over the last week via the executive producer of the game, Mark Dara. If you don't already follow Mark Dara on Twitter, I highly recommend it. He's actually using his Twitter as kind of a continuous Reddit Ask Me Anything thread, and so people are able to address the game developers directly, asking questions. Is this going to be in there? Will that be in there? What's this going to be like? And they're getting direct answers from someone who's in charge of the game. This is really unusual and really helpful for people like us who are very interested in learning about the game. So I figured I'd use some of the answers that he's given to people via Twitter just to help bring to light some information for you and maybe give a little bit of context to it. So number one, the first thing that we're going to talk about today is that loot dropped will be biased to the Javelin that you are currently using, but other things will also drop. So we know that your class, i.e. what Javelin you're using, is not directly tied to your character level. We know that your freelancer, your human, is where your leveling happens, and then you gather loot that increases the power of whatever Javelin that you're currently using. The question came asking, is the loot that you get going to drop for any Javelin, or is it just going to drop for the Javelin that you're currently using? This is a great question because this was an issue initially in Diablo 3. If you're using a barbarian, there was basically nothing that said whether the loot you were going to get was for your barbarian or for a different character that you may or may not have even been using. But since we have access to all the Javelins by the end of the main campaign, it would make sense that you'd be gathering loot for all of them all at once. But it also makes sense for the loot to be biased. So if you want to main a Colossus, for example, most of the loot that you find will be for your Colossus. But some of the loot may also benefit other classes as well, whether you want to use it or not. The second answer that we got from Mark Dara was whether or not there would be custom idle animations at launch. No, these are the animations or what your character looks like or what they're doing when they stand still for a period of time. This one isn't particularly exciting, but it is just another layer of customization that I think is cool. However, he says that they won't have them at launch, which means that they could possibly be coming down the pipeline at some point, some form of patch or DLC later, some form of customization that you may be able to pick up in the environment later. We don't know, but it's kind of cool that they're thinking about this. This is on their mind. We just know that it's not going to be there on day one. Number three, and this one's a little bit more interesting, is the fact that Mark Dara is confirming that there will be daily quests and daily rewards. So we've seen daily rewards come in a couple of different versions. If you look at Warframe players get something new for their player every day, up to, I think it's up to like 950 or 1,000 days of logging in. So there's a lot of rewards and a lot of reason to continuously log in. And there's also going to be continued quests that you're going to be doing every day. This could be akin to something like Destiny as well. So it's not truly shocking. They told us that there's always going to be stuff to do. There's always going to be something to push, and daily quests are a great way to do that. Smite is another game that uses daily rewards, but they do it within a single span of a week. So if you log in every day for 7 days in a row, you get a special prize at the end. You get some of the premium currency if you log in 7 days straight, but then that timer resets if you miss a day. So maybe there will be something similar to that, reasons to continuously log in. And these are, sometimes they can be kind of annoying because you feel like you have to log in whether you're going to play or not. But then at the same time, it is rewarding the people who are continuously coming back. So we'll see what that looks like. No real details on this one, only there will be daily things. That's the only tweet. We know there will be something, we just don't really know what yet. Number four is a confirmation that I was actually looking for, and it was answering the questions, will Javelins fly at the same speed? Actually, the question that was answered in the tweet is, will they fly at different speeds? But the answer is not an overland flight. No, we want everyone to be able to stay together. This is fantastic. So we know that the different Javelins excel in different things, right? The Colossus is really heavy and strong, but slow. The Interceptor and the Storm are going to be a lot faster. And so how are these two different machines basically going to stay together if one's fast and one's slow? Well, they've answered that question. If they're going to be fast or if they're going to be slow, it's going to be in battle. But if they're just cruising along, if they're moving from one place to another across the map, they're going to fly at the same speed. I don't know how this shakes out via the lore of the game or via the canon or mechanically. I don't know how that makes sense, but that's okay because we want people to be able to stay together. That would be a real bummer if you were penalized for being the tank class by flying slower everywhere. That would be a real bummer. So this is good news. It's a very simple answer to a question, but big thumbs up from TIE Fighter. I'm very happy with this one. Okay, so one question was answered that I think is very important, and it was, will you be able to join different factions such as the Arcanists or such as the Sentinels or the Corvists or the Ciphers? And the answer is no. So you are a freelancer, and that doesn't just describe you as a person, but it describes what faction you are a part of. I know that as a part of Fort Tarsus, you're going to be working for these different factions. You're going to be doing missions for the Arcanists, for the Sentinels, and these missions that you complete and the choices that you complete while doing these missions may adjust or change the way Fort Tarsus looks for you. It may change your experience, but you won't actually be able to join those factions. So it won't be like any sort of faction rally or anything like that. Maybe you'll be able to get gear that signifies those factions. Maybe you'll get a piece of armor that shows one or more of the different factions. Maybe that might be a fun way to fashion up your Javelin a little bit by showing your allegiance to one or more of the different factions. But in the end, you can't actually join them, and that's important to know because you can use that understanding that you will never leave the freelancers to adjust how you go about different situations. Number 6 actually made me kind of sad. So the question was asked, will players be able to change weapons during missions and or free roam? And the answer was no, not without going back to Fort Tarsus or to your Strider. So I know that the Strider is a mobile form of a base, right? So it's a movable, probably an airborne type of base unit that you can use to change your gear, but not being able to change your gear during a mission really feels like a step backward. So maybe you're loading up and you know that you're going to be dealing with lots of little units, or maybe units of a particular enemy faction that are weak to a particular type of damage. So say you're going against enemies that are weak to fire damage, so you load up a fire weapon, and you go out and you attack those enemies, and it turns out you get attacked again, but now the enemies are resistant to fire, but they're good with electric damage. So you can't swap your gear on the fly to go against these enemies that have changed the nature of the mission. And that feels like a bummer, right? You want to be able to adapt to a situation. Now, that makes it much more likely that you'll fail, and that makes it much more likely that you'll have to repeat it. And I guess that's one form of difficulty that they want you to have to deal with. You know, don't always set your gear for one specific type. Always have gear that makes you able to deal with multiple types of enemies at once. I guess I see that. It just feels kind of like a bummer that I can't focus on multiple different loadouts on a one particular mission. So maybe we'll see this change. Probably not. It seemed very straightforward. No, this is not something we're going to do. You should be able to change in Fort Tarsus or in the Strider, but I don't know. We'll see. I'm kind of bummed about this one, but hopefully there will be other ways to be fluid or be flexible. We will see. I don't know. Number 7 is super cool. So we have just found out that ultimates are going to be a piece of gear. Now we know that ultimates will be static when the game releases. Each Javelin is only going to have one ultimate. We've seen them for a couple of different Javelins so far, but it's so cool to think about the ultimate being something that is swappable. Maybe your ultimate is great against single target damage. It does huge single target damage like the Colossus's main heavy cannon. But maybe in a different mission, you need to be able to clear lots of little enemies. And so you may want an ultimate that's much more akin to the Ranger's ultimate, where he sends out large-scale missiles in tons of different directions. But you're a Colossus, so you need to be able to swap that up on the fly. Or maybe you'll find legendary versions of ultimates or even ancient versions of ultimates. Like this, there's so many possibilities here. I'm very excited to see what we learn from this. Just know that it's going to be a while, right? So none of this is going to happen at launch, but we will see cool stuff happen in the future, which is cool. The 8th and final tweet that I wanted to talk about today shouldn't be a surprise to very many people if you've been following Anthem so far. The question was asked, will we be able to unlock different colors as the game progresses? Will we only be able to purchase different color schemes for our Javelins? And the answer is you can unlock personalization options by playing. So they've said there will be loot boxes, there will be microtransactions. I shouldn't say loot boxes. There will be microtransactions, but they will be direct. If I see this particular skin and I want it, I can buy that skin directly, which is cool. But if you want to spend no money on that stuff, there will still be options for you. You can still unlock cool things. You can still unlock colors and different versions of armor and different customizations that make your Javelin feel like your own, and you don't have to put extra money into it. Granted, that stuff probably won't look as cool. It probably won't look as fancy as some of the stuff that you can pay for, but we live in a day and age where games cost more to make than the standard $60 per unit model allows for. And so I understand why BioWare is doing this. They need to be able to monetize it just to a greater degree. This game has been in development for 5 years. That takes so much money to fund that many people making such a big game for so long. So if they want to make money this way, awesome. I'm probably not going to spend too much money on customization options just because it's not quite as important to me. But if that's something that you really like, then you can go the extra mile for them and help them out in that way. So anyway, it's great to see that there will be versions of these customization options for people that don't want to pay extra. And if you do, there will probably be even more, lots of cool stuff. But please don't go spreading the word that EA is evil and EA is going to put loot boxes into everything. They've specifically said that is not the case, and we don't have to worry about any of that randomized nonsense pay for power that we saw last year with Battlefront. So this is a nice confirmation for us that you will be able to unlock personalization options by playing, or if you'd like to pay a little extra to get fancy stuff, you can. Anyway, thank you so much everyone for hanging out today. I'm really looking forward to this game, obviously, and I'm going to be following this Twitter and making sure that you guys are all as up to date as possible on what we learn about this game as it comes out. We've seen a very slow trickle of information. You know, we're always looking forward to the next convention or the next release of a trailer or, you know, something, but we're getting little pieces at a time, and for me, that's okay. If you have any thoughts or want to learn more about this game, please feel free to like and subscribe. I would love for you guys to hang out more and ask questions in the comments below, or maybe give your thoughts about something that we've learned today. Let's talk about it more. I want this to be a conversation, and I'll look forward to making more videos for you guys so we can talk about it even more. So thank you so much, guys. This is TIE Fighter. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.